retract my pre.
You're talking about faces.
Yeah, you just don't talk about me.
Settle in right now. Good morning and welcome to the Hodgepack Sports Life and everything in between on this Good Friday. We'll talk a little bit about that as well. It's so good to be back in studio, the Coast Life studio in the Mall of Abilene. It's Hodge, Misty, and Josh ready to bring you having something to talk about while they were wrong on a few things, but it's so good to see you. Good to be sober as the great Gatsby was solved and all the things, and it's good stuff. You kept it. First of all, how we doing today? Good Friday.
It is a good Friday. It's the best, the best Friday.
Yeah, and we'll talk about that as well. But you kept doubting yourself, and I'm going to be deep thoughts with Jack Handy. I'm sitting there. It's 4:30 in the morning in Tacoma, Washington last week when it was 6:30 here. It became 6:55 here, and then it became 7:05 here. And anyway.
Oh yeah, when we were having our issues with letting the world hear our radio show, Misty and I were talking about because we ignored you. We just were gonna. We didn't really have good answers, so we were just like. And so then so you were not here to do anything about it. But I will tell you this: you like, yeah, there was a little self-deprecation in all of that. I'm sorry that Hal got the full-fledged title of the best opening history of the Hodgepack. Problem is, only Misty heard it. But she can vouch for it.
Yeah,
it was good.
He totally killed it.
It was very, very good. In fact, if the whole world would have heard that, they'd be like, "Get this Hodgepack out of here!" But no one heard it. So
stuff. Of course, John Keating's always fantastic, and Amber came on and talked about that. I had a big tournament on Wednesday. Josh, how'd you play?
It was very windy.
Yeah, got 18.
By about a quarter of the way through our golf round, the wind started blowing
more
40 to 50 miles an hour.
How many holes did you have down there?
Well, I'm trying. I don't know. That's a lot. That's a lot. I got a lot of counting, but I do know this: the ones that were into the wind were very difficult.
Oh, I bet.
Like 16, it was like you probably needed to get a 3-wood out.
Oh, I believe that. We've definitely been there on days, but junior achievement golf. It's a golf. We've got our Big Country Electric Minetown 7 at the bottom. The Bilbo Golf Tournament's been around a long time. Patrick, the Reed family, have been putting this on for many years. I believe it's over 40 years. We'll get there. Other side of golf, a couple years ago, got to caddy for Ben Turn, who's on the PGA Tour. I'm going to tell you, last Friday was tough. We had a great time. Katie on the show, your boss, about Avalon Gibbs and being a tennis mom, and I got to go on a civics leaders trip, and we were in Washington. It was great. But last Friday was a very tough day to not be here. March Madness ended on Monday with Houston unfortunately giving it back. Florida got it, winning the national championship, and then it was the Masters week. And heading into Masters weekend, first of all, Cliff 316 from New Jersey. Now that I'm back in studio, we're going to get the stuff and mail his stuff to New Jersey, is who our winner of the bracket was.
That's so fun.
Yeah, good stuff. And he downloaded the podcast, as he said. And but then we roll in the Masters. And Rory wins completes the Grand Slam, only the sixth guy to do it in an amazing fashion. Poor Justin Rose has 10 birdies on Sunday, and it's kind of like playing a six-man game. You score 105 points and you lose to 106. You kind of expect to win with 105 points. The emotions were there. Tracy said she just bawled as Rory walked up the aisle crying, or walked up the Victoria. And such a gut-wrenching of golf. We put that as our Black social media question of the week. Where do you rank? And most people said it was the best ever, or right below Tiger winning in 2019. Such a great Masters. Unbelievable.
Yeah, we watched a lot of golf. You had been proud of the Colliers all day Saturday, all day Sunday. But yeah, I have to admit, I got a little teary watching it all unfold as well. And I don't know, the emotion when he dropped and threw the putter, I don't know, it was just overwhelming. You could just tell that release of all of that he's been going through for many, many years. And so, yeah, congrats to Rory. It was exciting, the playoff. I mean, I don't know, I just loved everything about it.
Well, and you look at it, not only did he complete the Grand Slam, he hadn't won a major in 10 years. And Rory's the type you thought he might win if there was a time, go catch Jack. Because right now, maybe Jack's major is going to be 18's going to stay put and not ever get touched, since Tiger didn't do it. But I could see Scotty, maybe Rory getting on a big run. But the shot he hit at 15 after going in the drink on 13, having to take it around, a little bit of a draw around and get up there and make that shot, and then birdie 17, and then bogey 18. And Tyler Sykes, we were at the Sykes family watching it, and Tyler called. He said he's going to bogey 18, and he ends up bogeying 18 and brings Justin Rose back into it. And then being able to hit the same shot that you get in the bunker in regulation, to hit it to where he did in the playoff was just fantastic. And Josh, pressure is real, and you saw that even in Rory McIlroy.
Well, that's the thing, was because that bogey on 8, I think a lot of people were afraid was coming, because he's got that monkey on his back of never being able to win the Masters and all the off the course stuff that's kind of followed him around recently. He got all that kind of building up
And merged it back.
Yeah. And then when he, and a lot of times what you see in not just golf, but in all sports, much like with Houston, Florida, is the comeback. As it gets closer to the game, or closer to the end of the game, the team, the player coming back, and the one that's kind of faltered a little bit, usually that momentum
passes.
Like you cross paths, and he was able to shirk that momentum, because in that momentum of coming back and playing such a good round, and then you use that putt that say 9 times out of 10 he makes that putt and misses it, and so it set it up to be the collapse that would have obviously been the talk of the tournament, and he did get the most back. And so I'm okay with that show of emotion in that situation, unlike the Luka situation.
And the other monkey is now continuing to be on most rounds leading playoffs. One is Sergio a few years ago, and then now losing to Rory. Will Justin finally win there? Another monkey on his back. And Ludwig Aberg costing him $500,000 with the triple bogey on 18.
I wish that Bryson DeChambeau, it would have been between those two though, just for a little bit more drama.
Bryson faded.
Yeah,
Yeah,
he
he
did. But they were neck and neck, and then it kept.
And that story got better. One, of course, me being a non-live guy, it just shows you that 54 holes is not enough live people. And number two, it was just interesting how Rory, he said they talked, they asked Bryson after, and Rory, he said, yeah, Rory didn't talk to me all day.
Yeah, I know.
I absolutely loved it. So anyway, but moving on, Scotty Scheffler finishing fourth, and now is over at RBC Heritage, which Justin Thomas shot a 61 yesterday to lead that first round, and has a slew of people behind him at 7 under. A couple of things I do want to mention. Yesterday, the announcement was made. Lee Corso, the headgear guy, the guy that kind of helped make College Game Day. Brutus was his first one at Ohio State and did a lot of, he was a staple. Obviously he's been there 40, been there as long as Corso's been doing it. You can tell it was, getting close. And Kirk Herbstreit talked about, I'm anxious to see Kirk's reaction to it, and probably even when they do the first College Game Day this year, because he would tell you he was kind of like another granddad or another dad to him. And he would always go in on Twitter and go into where Lee was, and that they were in a hotel getting ready, or they're at the state, wherever they were doing the College Game Day that day. They would be there doing the set or doing something. He'd always come in and ask Lee how he's doing, what's today, and So we all understood that it was good timing probably for Coach Corso. 40 years doing this stuff. We missed on College Game Day, and of course they've been Pat McAfee and all those would be on how they handled it into the show with picks. But Lee Corso making yesterday of retiring from College Game Day.
Yeah, I think it was the right decision. I think we saw the writing on the wall there for a while. But like we were talking about before the show, we're all getting older, and it is hard, even at our age. It's like can't do things that I could do 20 years ago. And so I think it's just a reminder, we're all getting a little older, and sometimes it's hard to hang your hat up for something that you love, but definitely will be missed, a legend. And yeah, Game Day will be different without him, but definitely was around there.
It was obvious that age was catching up to him, and it just kind of diminish what he had done and got, and it was
and I know you think about what those guys do. They leave on Friday, and they go to another state or another city every weekend, and having to get ready. And there was a time where, depending on where,
it'd be very, very early in the morning.
And for like last week, for me, I'm in Washington. Well, if they're at Washington's, University of Washington or Washington State or wherever we're doing a College Game Day over there, yeah, it starts at 8 o'clock here, but it's starting at 6 over there. And so you're having to get on there and all those things. So the grind that it did take on all of it. And so, but anyway, Lee Corso retiring from College Game Day, great. Did not get to meet him the one time that I was in College Game Day for Texas and Tech. Got to meet Chris Fowler and Kirk Herbstreit, but really cool. Of course, 38 years on College Game Day. Congratulations to him. We'll see what they do next. When we come back, the Texas Dodgers coming to town. Also, pitcher almost doesn't make his start because of a bite he had nothing to do with and didn't even know it happened. We'll be back.
Because she can take our picture. Okay, so are they after this next segment?
Yeah.
Okay, I was like, they are super early. It's not.
Yeah, they're just.
Well, I told them to 15 if you show up.
Right. Okay.
Because if you show up.
Okay. I have nothing to contribute to the readers. Recap.
Oh, that's so.
Have you ever been bit by anything that you didn't know?
What?
Did you not see that about Corbin?
Yeah, I got bit by a spider.
I did.
He said he didn't know.
Yeah, like
I did not know about that. This morning is so much like
Oh, yeah.
than last week. Never been so happy to see Hodges truck in the parking lot. After had a little PTSD driving up this morning, not gonna lie. But we did it, you know?
Yeah, we did.
So
Well,
we made it through.
but I'm telling you, well,
We made it through.
it was good, but I'm glad Jones was nearby.
Yeah, same. And I feel like he got here so fast.
He did.
Well, because he was over there.
But even so, I feel like you were like, hey, he'll be there, and then in 2 minutes he was here.
I got powers.
I don't know. I was just impressed.
I think it's funny that Patrick Corbin is staying in Max Scherzer's house because Max Scherzer home is in the Metroplex, but he went to Toronto. Yeah, it's just like yeah, because Corbin signed with the Rangers, and I guess since Scherzer and his family are not living there during the baseball season, they was just like,
I think you screwed on rent.
that's what I wondered. You deal with a couple of people that, I mean, Corbin signed a huge contract a few years ago. Then their teammates like, yeah, with the National. I mean, I wonder is it if you're Max Scherzer, do you even care about making rent? Also, when I read that, I wondered how that went down. You know, like Corbin signed with the Rangers, and did he like call Scherzer? Did Scherzer call him? You know, like, hey, you can stay at my place while you're there. We don't need it.
Yeah, can we get a? Does that come through a VRBO site?
Yeah.
Richpeople.com.
Yeah.
Rent rich peopleshomes.com.
That would be an interesting thing.
That works.
I don't know, like
My home area by West, they call it Westlake area, kind of by, I don't know if it's Keller and all that, but apparently him and Travis Kelce, I don't think they share a house, but have a house there.
I would want to stay at like somebody's house in like Cabo or
Yeah.
something. There's a lot of celebrities that have houses there.
Yeah, they probably still went all out.
Yeah. Whose house would I want to be in?
that's a funny conversation, but I have a friend that he lives next door to Tyron Smith.
The one that just retired?
Yeah.
Oh.
You have a friend that does?
Yeah. And he was just like the Tyron Smith was building a new and somehow worked out that I don't know, like something that they were taking out, like he got it, you know, so just like a very like neighborly type of just thing.
Get him
I
on
was
the
like,
show.
it just
We're proud to have Tyron
Yeah.
Smith, neighbor.
yeah, who
We've had
That's
Tyron
the next
Smith.
segment.
picked up the workbench that Tyron replaced in his garage.
Cousins, neighbors, friends, mama.
It's like, did he just load the
Welcome back to
workbench?
the Hodgepodge Sports Live and everything in between. Again, appreciate Lawrence Hall of Abilene. Lawrence Hall, AbileneOnline.com. Get anything you need right there. They'll get you taken care of. And again, another headline report. We were talking about his neighbor. Tyron Smith retires this past week from the Dallas Cowboys. We'll talk more about that later, but that's how they do it now. If you want to go out as the team you really like that you got kicked out first, that you played with first, but Tyron Smith is gone, and somehow somebody, another, we'll talk about that later because I got some thoughts on that. We want to dive into our First Bank and Trust Texas Ranger MLB report. The Texas Rangers 12-7 on the 3-game winning streak, took care of the Los Angeles Angels as they came to town for 3 games. Rangers win. Or they didn't play yesterday, the day off. Dodgers coming to town, another big weekend. The Mariners are kind of, it was the Rangers and the Angels hanging out at the top, and now the Rangers at the top.
Well,
Mariners making a move.
The Mariners got to move up because the Rangers had to go play them in Seattle, and the Rangers cannot win in Seattle, and I don't really understand that completely. But the Rangers are back to being tied for the best record in the American League. It's just going to be tied for 4th in just the National League West. So the Dodgers are definitely a good team. Got 3 games at Globe Life this weekend. It's one of those things that when I originally saw that on the schedule, I was like, I need to try to go to one of those games. And then as it came into view, I realized that was Easter weekend, and I wasn't going to be able to make that happen. But it's still be able to watch some baseball on TV and hopefully see see the Rangers pick up a couple.
Yeah, interesting weekend. I thought the same thing. And honestly, we were talking about. I know y'all mentioned it last week, and we talked about trying to get to a game. Like, there's 81 of them that are trying to find a weekend. During the week is obviously difficult, even when school's out. Going on the weekend, it's actually harder than you think.
It gets better once summer starts. There's less activities and things like that in general, but you're right. It's because that's one of the things, and we talked about this last week, that I was kind of sad that I haven't been to a game yet, because typically I have, by this point, I would generally make a point to go very early in the season, but just the way things kind of worked out this year, and the busyness of my boys playing baseball, and that being a long Saturday, generally, it's just turned into very, very difficult, but still going to do it soon, I hope.
Yeah, I want to be on that chain, because it would be fun for all of us to go with the family.
Oh, no doubt. I agree.
We need a trip.
Yeah, I think it would be a lot of fun, but it is it's tough to get in and take care of it. Interesting yesterday, on Wednesday, Patrick gets his first win. Josh mentioned he's living in Max Scherzer's house, but wasn't sure he was going to get the pitch because he had a bite on his foot, and he said in the article I was reading, he didn't know where it came from. And I guess it happens sometimes, like you get a mosquito, so all of a sudden you feel like, man, that itches, and you look down and there's a mosquito bite. That happens. But something that, if a monkey bit you, and
a monkey, maybe.
Well, no, it's such a funny, I'll have to tell that story later. But he gets bit and almost didn't get to start Wednesday for the first time, but did, and was able to have a good day.
Yeah, he struck out 6. Looked good. Being a late addition, somebody who has had success in the past, but the past couple of years with the Nationals have not been good. So he's had quality impact for the Rangers. Looked like starting pitching depth was something that the Rangers had going, and that's one reason why that having starting pitching and having depth there is so important, because at the moment the Rangers have 3 starting pitchers that are on the IL, hence the need to bring in another guy, and Corbin stepped up and done it. I will say this, though, that they assume it's a spider bite. He said he was playing outside with his kids at Max Scherzer's house, where they're staying, since Max Scherzer now plays for Toronto, and I guess didn't need his house for the summer.
A tough time.
Yeah. So yeah, you got to go play in Toronto where they pay you a ton of money. I once got bit by something I assume was a spider. Also, it bit me on the lower leg. I did not feel anything bite me, just like had a swollen, obvious, like some at the, I was not just like, oh, something bit me. It was just later, I was like, man, what is wrong? And it like swelled up and was kind of nasty and kept getting worse. Had to get some like ointment to put on it, and then it went away and everything was fine. But it was like, so I can understand that.
Like that you didn't know, and all of a sudden, oh, my foot's huge.
No, never.
Me neither.
I'm like, knock on something, now it's gonna happen, but no, never. I mean, obviously mosquitoes, but nothing like
Are you allergic?
major.
Are you allergic to wasps or bees, or do you know?
Mm-mm. I
No.
guess I have been like stung by a bee before, but
Yeah, but you knew it.
right, but
No,
nothing.
yeah.
Nothing like what you're.
That I'm aware of. I mean, I've only been stung by a wasp maybe twice. Once when I was a kid, we had a bush that where the faucet was.
Oh yeah, you reach in there. Yeah.
Bam. But other than that, I don't think I've had. And so I'm just curious. But anyway, he did, and found a way to fit well. And so the Rangers are on top. Dodgers are coming to town. I know it's early in the season. I mean, long way till football, long way till all gets here in the season and the playoffs and all that. But it's good to see a Rangers team competing. It's good to have a Rangers team with even battling injuries, still finding a way to get things done. I saw a stat, they're minus 1,500 or something in runs at 12-7, and it's like the title was still finding a way to win.
Well, yeah, that's we talked about that a little bit last week while you were gone, but they went to Cincinnati, won 2 out of 3 on the road, which is good. The interesting thing about that was they got outscored in that series like 14-4, 5, 14-5.
Yeah, because they lost 14,
and then 1-0, 1-0.
Yeah.
So it was like one differential was absolutely terrible, but you took 2 out of 3. So like that's interesting. That's something that I don't think you can maintain that. It's you're going to have to start putting crooked numbers up on offense if you want to win games. But I guess the bright side is, like Corey Seager started slow, but he is, hit multiple home runs recently. Hit another one last night. He's batting over 300. He looks like Corey Seager. Last night, Adolis Garcia picked up a couple RBIs, a home run and a sac fly. So those guys getting going. Marcus Simeon's been hitting the ball hard lately, getting some of them to fall, but some of them haven't. But that's positive, as far as moving forward. So I do think that the offense is starting to get its groove a little bit. The pitching is still hanging in there. Last night's game, Rocker got his first win as a pro pitching. He's what we saw out of him last night gives me like much joy as far as like moving forward, because he pitched 7 innings. His slider was just wipeout, had 12 swings and misses off the slider, which, like if you're dealing like that, staying in the game, being very efficient, pitched 7 innings with 78 pitches, so that's like all like check the boxes, move forward. Like you keep doing that, and he lives up to that first round draft choice position, and everybody's happy. Except for maybe Angels and Astros fans.
But we don't care about that.
Right.
So, again, First Bank and Trust Texas Ranger MLB report. The Rangers are on top. When we come back, it'll be time for our Big Country Electric My Time segment. We'll highlight a tournament that is coming to town, stayed in town, been around a long time. We'll highlight the Bilbo, and we'll also talk about some local golfers that had some, and we'll be back right after this.
Okay. Let's get a picture before they start.
I need you to get the information on Brandon, if you know those, because I'm going to promote that as part of our Big Country My Time segment.
Yeah. It just, he tied for 15 at regional.
But he's not moving on.
No, he's not moving on.
No.
Hello. Yeah, he will not be moving on, unfortunately. But still good. Tied for 15
That's good.
out of 90 something.
Much joy.
Much joy.
How are you?
Good. Okay, we're gonna take a quick picture before we get started. Molly. Okay, so Molly, get right here. If y'all will face me, we're gonna get that in the background. We're gonna picture before we get started.
Okay.
You got it, Robert.
All right. Got it? Okay, perfect.
All right.
Yeah, y'all
Okay,
take
and then now y'all can take chairs. Perfect.
We are on Facebook Live, so anything you don't want to hear, don't say anything.
I didn't know it.
No, it's LIVE. All right, so we'll basically talk about how the tournament's been going on.
Mm-hmm.
Who, I know it's been, we're changing the recipient, right? Yeah.
Marching down.
Okay.
Free negative care. That's what, what's out of that. The money's gonna stay in there.
Over $2 million raised over the life of the tournament.
All that's it. Two more. And then- Cisco Track had a pretty good run. I guess they had regionals this week, or are they doing it now today? Where's their regionals at? Springtown. I guess they're far enough east.
Yeah, it's a big region. They have a girl, every computer is qualified for this. That's just unheard of. Every girl that has it is qualified. Built the school record in Cisco, but you know how old Cisco is, I don't understand that.
Well, I wanted. She broke Jim Ann Baker's record. Jim Ann Baker was one of the first girls I remember was coaching. I wasn't in, and she was good.
I've heard the name of this.
Super.
It's over there for yourself.
What you got? Really? That's what they call having ups.
Yeah.
You got some ups.
Well, welcome back to the Hodgepodge, sports life and everything in between. We're at the bottom of the hour. Lots going on, and when you hear that song, you know it's time for our Big Country Electric My Town segment, brought to you by Big Country Electric Cooperative. Appreciate them taking care of their members each and every day. No doubt the times that they do a great job. Roby Snyder and Stanford, we appreciate Sarah, Will, and all the linemen this past week. Lineman Appreciation Day, and so we appreciate those linemen. Weather's sometimes not great, they're out there working in it, so we appreciate them. And when we do, our Big Country Electric My Town segment, we highlight a local player, coach, or program. And today we're going to highlight some programs, a tournament that's been around a long time. Since we are talking golf, I want to mention a couple of things. One, Branson King, who was on a couple of weeks ago, getting ready for the regional tournament, had a tie for 15th for that. They're in the 5A Division II. So great job, Branson, on a great career there. And then Jim, in that same region, same district, same area, Wiley boys golf have made it to state. They finished second. They'll be heading to state. Jim Ned golf heading to state as well. And then a couple that I think is interesting and Benny will get this. Small schools, Jayton Golf making it to state, Holly making it to state, had the runners making it to regional in golf, and then today they're going to run regional track. So when you're in small towns, you do it all, and so congratulations to those guys. We're actually looking, one of the Wiley moms reached out about having maybe the Wiley kids on to talk about, apparently yesterday, the last 45 minutes or so got interesting on the tournament, so we'll hear about that. But congratulations, everybody. Spring's such a busy time. We were talking Cisco, where Benny's grandkids go. They've got so much going on. Spring is a busy time for big schools, small schools, and it's a busy time as golf is here and joining us in our Potosi Live studio to talk about one of the longest golf tournaments running in probably the state is the Bilbo Golf Classic, and joining us is Benny Kilpatrick and Ken Walker. Appreciate it. And so it's been around a long time. Is it 40 years plus?
44 years, right?
Yeah, 1981.
So 44 years, and it, talk a little about how it got started, and I know there's some family names tied to this thing. Talk a little bit about that, Benny.
Well, the tournament actually started almost as a joke, right? A bunch of oil field hands that learned to play a little bit of golf, not very well. That tournament, it was just a monster. Well, it wasn't very big first year, but after year 2 or 3, this thing got pretty darn big.
A little traction.
Yeah, got a little traction, and the way we went, and we picked up at that time the Richie Boys Ranch for many years. We raised well over $1 million, $1.5 million for the Richie Boys Ranch. Since then, we've branched out to different charities, kind of spread the money around,
Right.
Spread the wealth around a little bit.
Yeah.
All local.
All charities, and like I say, this year it's March of Dimes, prenatal care. Money's going to stay here in Abilene to help mothers and babies with the March of Dimes.
Well, and that's such a huge, and of course, golf is big, and we've seen it. You know, we saw this past weekend, the biggest weekend of golf with the Masters. But when the mama has a baby early, and that baby arrives a little earlier than he or she was on this world, we think, but the Lord says you're coming early. There's times that you need a place to, your baby's going to be safe, your mama's going to be safe, all the above. So March of Dimes is a great organization. So this tournament, it's different than a lot of others. We see a lot of charity golf tournaments, and you get your 4 buddies and you play, and you know all 4 of them, and it doesn't matter how good or bad you are. But in the Bilbo, it doesn't matter how good or bad you are, but you get to meet new people. And so talk things, but it's different than any other tournament.
It is. So this one's not the team with the sharpest pencil or the biggest eraser, or the best day players they bring in, It's an ABCD. It's a computer draw. And I've loved it over the years. It's hard to get used to that because everywhere else you bring your own guys. And like you said, you play with somebody you're comfortable with. But man, I've met so many great people over the years, and and we have it structured so that you got to use 2 drives of everybody's on your team, A, B, C, and D, and there's some
strategy in it. I'm going to tell you, about 4 or 5 years ago, I think it's before Roman, right after, and we were playing it, and the team we were playing alongside, that's another fun thing about it. And we were playing, and we got 9 and 10 were our last 2, and we were battling or whatever, and we were in the mix, and the team we were playing with got to 9, and they all hit, and they still needed 1 more drive of this guy.
He's probably the D player.
Well, I don't know where he was, but they said, and he had one just off the green, number 9, par 3 at maximum. And they said, now let's go ahead and get the one on the green, try to birdie it, or at least par. We got that par 5, it's no big deal. We get the whole 10. And he hits it right into the cattails. And they went from like 2nd or 3rd out of the money, and we traded. Mm-hmm. And they kind of Bryson DeChambeau won, and we Rory won. Mm-hmm. But it's a lot of fun fun because it's a totally different format. You get like, oh, it's a lot of fun. It is a great time, great group of people. But I do think it is worth talking about how your family and the Reed family have been around in this thing for a long time, and a lot of volunteers that make this happen.
Right. Well, Bill Kilpatrick, Bill Reed, and my brother Billy have been instrumental in this tournament since day one, especially Bill Reed.
Right.
Being distributed.
Right.
And we do set aside some of the money that is raised for scholarship fund. It was founded for them about 3-4 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
And it's Bill Reed, Bill Kilpatrick, Billy Kilpatrick Scholarship Fund. And which coincides with the shootout. After the main tournament on Saturday, we do have a shootout with the 10 lowest handicapped players in a shootout. And it's the winners of the shootout.
Right.
It's a lot of fun. We invite anybody to come out and just to watch the shootout. It's
It's a hoot.
a carnival atmosphere, maybe.
I think that's, I mean, it's accurate.
It's a lot of fun.
I mean, I know that's Derby Day. It's pretty much like watching the Derby, except they just stay in one spot. They don't really run.
Mm-hmm.
But because it is, what a shootout is everybody hits, and whoever has the worst score gets kicked out, and they keep going until they whittle it down, kind of like the Final Four, if you will, and then somebody wins. But it is. The Bilbo Classic's been around, be 44 years this year. They played at Maxwell. The people in Maxwell do a good job making it all work, and and for, again, eightsom's not normal, but it makes it a lot of fun because you have to keep track who's hit the drive, who hadn't hit the drive, and then you get to shoot the bull, and Maxwell's wide open, so you get to see a lot of people. You'll see, I guarantee you, if you're listening, you've got friends that are playing in this tournament.
Absolutely.
And you'll be there, and then you'll new friends because you get paired up with those folks. And so, of course, again, the date is May 2nd and 3rd at Maxwell. Talk a little bit, how can people sign up, and how does all that go?
So you can get all the registration forms and all the information you need. You can go on bilbogolf.com. You can call anybody on the board, me, Benny. We're all on Facebook. We have a Facebook page, Bilbo Golf, with all our contacts on there. And I'd like to add too that Friday night, May 2nd, after the two-man round on Friday, at 201 Mesquite, we've got a huge live auction, a silent auction, probably the biggest silent auction we've had in a few years. And then have a player auction, so on and so forth. Music, we'll come up with some food.
Talk about player auction. That's Calcutta. Just for those, you have a deal and you have a chance. You can play in this thing, win some money. I mean,
you don't even have to be in the tournament. We want you to come to the auction, get involved in the player auction.
Right. Yeah, you can come. I mean, again.
And a good auctioneer.
Yeah, good auctioneer. He'll let her buck a couple of times. And
yeah, he can rattle.
He can rattle and ride that horse and all those things, and
sell that horse.
Yeah, for sure. So. And 201 Mesquite's great venue,
awesome venue,
great venue, and again, Ken mentioned music, food, and so that's one thing that, and you get food on the day. There'll be sausage wraps and stuff and burgers and stuff like that on the day of the tournament. And so again, I've already looked at bilbogolf.com. Let me go back here. Yeah, bilbogolf.com. You can get all. We'll put this. We'll get Misty with our picture. I mean, on our Facebook page. Get entered again. May 3rd, May 2nd is the two-man shootout or two-man tournament, and then May 3rd is again
the big ABCD format.
Yeah, ABCD.
We've only got about 20 spots open, so if you want to get in, you better get after it.
Now's the time.
Yeah, and so again, you can see what it is to either sponsor a team, or if you just, and that's the other thing. You don't have to tell me if I'm wrong if I get out of line. If you're listening, you're driving to work, and you're hearing this, and you just want to enter, you can enter as an individual.
Yes.
And you'll be honest with your handicap, and then they'll pair you. You'll get put in, and then you can enjoy that Friday night, great atmosphere, great food, great auction, ton of stuff, and then of course the tournament on Saturday. So go to bilbogolf.com, check it out. Especially if you're new to town, you love golf. great way to meet new people by signing up in Classic May 2nd and 3rd Maxwell Golf. Guys, I appreciate it. I'll say this, and he always gets mad, and that's fine. Benny's done a lot. This organization's done a lot. Benny's been the auctioneer for a number of nonprofits in town. One of these days, somebody needs to figure out how much money Benny's helped raise for so many of these auctions. And Ken's been one of the guys that raises his hand when somebody gets a bid. But you guys do a lot, and the Bilbo's done a ton for almost a half a century. So
You do a lot for us, and I appreciate
Yeah,
it.
thank you.
Let's get the word out.
Yeah.
I'm real proud Ken stepped up. He is a committee chairman this year, and
There you
he's
go.
found out real quick, there's a lot more to it than people realize.
Yeah, it's not the glory I thought it was gonna be.
yeah, the head of the table is not so much the best part. But again, Bilbo Golf Classic, get signed up May 2nd, 3rd, and again, just a great time. Go to the auction, be a lot of fun. Again, Bilbo Golf, May 2nd and 3rd, Maxwell Golf, benefiting March of Dimes. You can help change lives of babies and moms and families by playing some golf. When we come back, Misty's going to open up her bag. There's no telling what it'll be. We'll be back right after this.
There you go. Thank you. I appreciate it.
Have you got interviewed?
Huh?
Have you got interviewed?
Here's my deal.
Oh, here we go. Look out.
I want to I'm on the Home Builder Association board. We've got a 30 company that if I can get the shirt, I'll get close to them. So they start shut down. I know it's in the, it's gonna be like that.
Could be true that people have to do this.
That's my plan.
You can't just completely cut the lights out.
Yeah.
Can I get a picture of that? Yeah. I can post it.
Oh, thank you.
We won't leave this week to finish it.
Got it. Okay, thank you.
Just give us a call. We're not that.
Okay, all right. Perfect.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Thank
Thank y'all, have a good day.
Thank you.
Yeah, appreciate it. Thanks, guys.
Appreciate you.
Bye, y'all.
Thank you for driving that.
See y'all.
Yeah, Molly took a picture like someone's grandma, like half my body was in the picture.
I cropped him out. I had to.
Well,
Probably ups the resale value.
He was literally this far away. Like, I
Well,
was
But was I
guess-
supposed to hug, like,
Well, I
Just
guess
like
I guess
stand
the
here.
benefit that
you
you
can't be
do
like
have.
this far away in the picture. It'd be like this.
all right, well, here's where my problem went. Benny stood very far back, so I was gonna kind of try to get like kind of behind him, but I couldn't. And so then I was like kind of standing next to him, and then I felt like I was awkwardly kind of like too close. I'm sorry.
No, I think she did it on purpose.
Oh, yeah, because the
So
picture.
That's what I'll say, Molly. I think you just now realize, hey, they won't ask me to take a picture ever again
Right?
based on what I just did.
Really set the bar.
Really good.
I mean, I did do that, but I mean, I can't say I did that.
No, that Bilbo golf tournament is so fun.
I've never played in it, but I've seen it from across the fence.
Do y'all have time to pee?
Yes.
Okay, I just want to make sure. If not, start without me.
Well, some longer than others.
Don't fit.
That's why you have to look at your phone sometimes when it doesn't want to open.
Oh, I forgot. They have no addresses.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, that Nico thing with Tennessee is wild.
Wild.
Well, welcome back to the Hodgepodge. We're rocking and rolling. And again, Good Friday, meaning this is the day that, as believers, Jesus went to the cross, took the punishment for us. And the good thing is, went into the grave and on the third day rose for hope. And so, great day today, Good Friday. Don't worry, Sunday's coming. It's good stuff. So we're glad that you're with us. Most kids are out of school. And so I'm hoping they're having a good Friday as well. And again, Molly's our photographer and not doing everything. All right, now it's time.
Not going pro in that.
No, she will not work for Wayne. We'll be right back with Misty's back.
Yes, we are sponsored by Mulligan Sports Bar, Grill, and Golf. And so again, want to remind everybody about some of their specials. They've got their BOGO wings on Wednesdays, and if you buy a bucket, you also. So bucket of brew, bucket of balls, all the things. Key City Karaoke happening Tuesdays from 7 to 10, and then Key City Gendo 30 to 8:30 Monday nights. And so follow their social media so that you can see everything that's going on at Mulligan's. It is the place to be in Abilene. Okay, so this question comes from a listener, and so I'm going to ask it. It is tariffs, sports edition.
Oh, what?
So tariffs is a subject that a lot of people are talking about right now. We're not going to get into politics, but if you were able to put tariffs on anything to keep it out of the United States, sports-wise, what would it be and why? It's going to put a tariff on it. So yeah, I think sports, teams, people, I don't know, but whatever you wish to keep.
Something that's already here, but we're gonna eliminate it by charging a lot of money.
And it eventually, would have to go away.
Well, Live Golf, but apparently that's not an issue for Live Golf backers, is they have plenty of money, so I wouldn't be able to do that, because I guess they would say we could find it and pay for it. And then the players coming back would have to pay something to come back to the tour.
Yeah, well, I would have to implement something that made drastic changes to the stupid NIL transfer portal. I made one word out of transportal. Like that's a new word.
Well, ironically, they are transportaling.
Yeah.
They
Yes.
are literally going to make a transaction for money.
This is Jose Altuve.
Yeah.
Put a tariff on him. I mean, yeah, it could be a player. I mean, we.
Maybe a height restriction.
Roller coasters happen.
I think
Yeah.
I'm bigger than him,
Probably so.
or we're about the same size.
Yeah. I think if you were going to put some tariffs on some things as far as sports, which I guess that means in order for it to be purchased or to be, I guess, brought over, that's where the tariff is hey, you have to add this
Pay
kind of
this
tax.
much money. Yeah.
Mhm.
I guess you can't do that to the league, that if you enter a Live Golf tournament, it's so expensive, nobody can afford it. And so they have to go play on the PGA Tour. That would be fine.
I mean, yeah, you could do that. Misty's bag. It's our land of what ifs.
I know. Hodge still gets hung up on this live thing, and it's just like, God. Whatever.
Well, you're hung up on all two days.
But
Molly
he's
Molly's let
just,
it go.
he's an Oompa Loompa playing left field.
Yeah, he's
It's
not
like the
very
worst
tall.
Astro.
He is not robbing anything from the fans.
No.
Not at all. What would you, Tara?
Philadelphia Eagles merchandise.
Well, yeah, that's
So
a good
that
one.
I would never have to see that again.
Here's the deal. I would be, I guess it's kind of like country. People in Philadelphia could wear it, but they could not cross state lines
Yes,
into Texas
exactly.
And wear Eagles jerseys in Texas.
Yeah, you can't. I would put such a high tariff on the merch for the Philadelphia Eagles that it eventually would go away. Even their own fans wouldn't be able to afford it, would be my philosophy.
See, I think people would find a way to get it. I think they're a very dedicated fan base for everything that they do. And whether it's the Sixers, whether it's the Eagles, whether it's the Phillies, Flyers, I mean, Philly fans, everybody gives New York the media struggle. You better win and be competitive in Philly as well.
Oh yeah, Philly's bad. So I think I would have to go with the merch.
See, that would be funny because that would start a whole like tariff war.
I know it would be great.
Because obviously everybody everywhere hates the Cowboys, and there are Cowboys fans everywhere.
Oh, no doubt.
Uh-huh.
I mean, to the point where if y'all remember, the Eagles and the Commanders, aka Redskins, they play each other, and then they join together, and bad word, the Cowboys aren't here. Why,
Yeah, Lynn Lawhon said Eagle fans would sell a kidney for merch. There's no doubt.
Well, then, if there were complications, there'd be less of them. So,
Well,
this could go
now you're wishing
awry.
death on people,
Yeah.
so
This
you've
could go
really
awry.
gone too far.
We retract that statement. Ironically, Misty's wearing Eagle green today.
I do like green, but, just not their merch. I don't want anyone to get hurt. This is a made-up land
A
of
made-up
mystery, of the mystery bag. So, we can do what we want in Misty's bag.
Yeah, I think, I was going to say you would have to wear because it does make it interesting at times. So what I'm about to say, that's why I said I don't think I will, but I still will talk about it, is in order to wear a opposing team jersey in the home stadium,
Yes.
you have to pay extra on your ticket to wear that jersey.
I actually love that idea.
That actually should be a thing, because I there's nothing that bothers me more, and it happens less now than it used to at Rangers games, because the Rangers have been good recently, and so that kind of changes things. But back in the day, you'd go to a Rangers Red Sox, Rangers Yankees game, and all these Yankees, Red Sox, whatever fans would just flood, and it would be very annoying. So at least if they had to pay more, that would give me some sort of satisfaction. So that's where I'm going. You have to pay extra for your ticket to wear opposing team
how much
jersey.
extra are we talking?
I mean, maybe the China 105%. I don't know, or maybe the 10% that Canada has to pay.
You add $100.
That's
No.
too. That's
Well, I mean,
cheap.
well,
That's pretty.
Or ticket in the nosebleeds, you got to pay $100 extra.
I guess it depends on.
I mean, 100%. I mean,
You just add $100. 100.
No, it's got to be a percentage. It's got to be progressive. You can't be charging the poor is $100, and the rich people that are already paying $1,000 for their ticket just $100.
Yeah.
Come on,
Okay.
you got to be at least somewhat.
Percentage,
Yeah,
25.
I say 100%.
There you go. 100% tariff to wear opposing team's jersey or any paraphernalia, not just jerseys, anything.
I'm trying to think of or just overall tickets for the Philadelphia Eagles are going to. I'm going to impose a tariff because I don't want anybody going to their games.
Well, ironically enough,
Again, this is my land.
we're gonna be that guy because and I don't really have, and I think anybody that is actually traveling to watch their team, not just and we've talked about this before, to be a fan of a team, I think you have to have some sort of story behind it. And if
If you don't live there,
well, right. And if your story is, like, I'm a 49ers fan. Why? Well, I really like Jerry Rice. All right, no, that's not a good story. Like you can be a kid and watch and like Jerry Rice.
hold that thought.
Okay.
I don't know about Jerry Rice and Philly, but hold that thought. Yeah, so like for me, as a Clemson guy, a Clemson fan, I started liking Dabo because of what he stood for, and then kind of C.J. Spiller, some of those guys. So I started liking Clemson. That's my story of why I was.
Yeah, and I told you that you failed.
Yeah,
You
Josh
failed.
is saying that that's not good
All right.
enough.
Do I need to take a class?
Well, possibly.
What
That's
is
why.
good enough?
Well, I've talked about this a little bit before on the radio. Like it's not a, it's a very subjective kind of like criteria, but it really has to be. I think you should have to take a test.
Like Papa and I used to watch the game.
See, I can give you that if you. I can give you that.
You've got a friend. I've got a friend. I think you know him too. It's a fish fry. C.J. Morrow.
Yes.
Yes.
He is not a Cowboys guy.
No,
He
he's
is
not.
a Buffalo Bills fan.
Yes.
Does he count?
He's
pretty diehard.
No, he has a story. I mean, it goes back a long time. It's not just a random, like, it's very easy to fall into the bounce from one to the next, and you have your favorite player that played there, and I get that. That's like, you can enjoy a player and enjoy like watching, but CJ would pass a test if you gave him a test on like current to past Bills,
like trivia.
Yes, yeah, like general, like.
I'm not the opposite. I guess a little bit is. Before the Rangers existed, but before the Rangers became someone to me, because I grew up mid-late 80s as a kid, I was a Braves fan. And the Braves were on TBS. They were the baseball team you could watch, them and the Cubs. And occasionally they had to have a White Sox game on WGN. So I was a Braves fan. And I was a Braves fan for a long time. And I could name, I would have a hard time naming Braves players today. But back in the one World Series and going all the time, I was a Braves fan. Because I can tell you who Bob Horner is, Rafael Ramirez. I can tell you those people.
Does he get a pass for that story? Just because it was the only channel on.
No, because I watched a lot of Braves games also, because that was like back in the early 90s, you could watch Cubs games. So like you said, some White Sox games, and the Braves games came on TBS, so you could watch Braves games. That's when, interestingly enough, the Rangers games that came on C-SPAN, like randomly, and it wasn't every game, but you would, you'd have to get the newspaper out and look at the Sports on Air segment or section to see if the Rangers were going to play on the Channel 3. But I never became a Braves fan. I watched a lot of real plays in some of their past players, as far as like their shortstop. But I'm talking about like Rafael Furcal, their shortstop back in the early 90s. He was decent, not great, but for some reason I felt like he was really good. Mark Lemke is another great one. David Justice had a rookie of the year, an interesting career, but he was not an all-time great. But like I said, that was one of those teams with Ron Gant also. That guy had a motorcycle accident that ruined his career. But I do have Ron Gant. I do have an outsized place with Braves at that time, like I also do with Rangers players, because I was one of those kids that like I automatically thought the guys that played for the Rangers were somehow just better than other players, because
and they were bad at it.
Well, yes, they were, because I went and saw them live, like like Steve Buechele's one of those guys. Decent career, not a middle type baseball player, but I thought he was super good. And so that's a whole different thing, I think. But I don't even know how I got so far off into this. But
well, you're in luck. We're gonna go to break.
Yeah, time to go.
When we come back, we're gonna revisit this because it will transition into college sports right now is so jacked up, and you maybe stop being fans of certain people. Well, you may not have a game to watch if you're better. We'll be back.
No, that's why college football, college sports in general has made this completely obvious. But that's why I've never been a supporter of I'm a fan of the player, so I like this team, because that's only as good as even the greatest player that, probably on a team for 10.
Well, I'm curious, I'm curious on
and then
how.
you're gonna, I was a huge fan of Michael Young. He was the best Ranger for a period of time.
Right.
After Alex Rodriguez left, before they started, making the World Series runs, he was the best player on their team. I really liked him. I wasn't going to become a Dodgers fan when he played that last little bit for the Dodgers, but that said, the guy that had that long of a career for the Rangers, now he's been gone for a long time. So the only reason he liked a team is because of a player. That's not, it's not long term.
I'm with you.
And college has just made that there is no reason at all for you to buy a jersey of a player in college. If you're a jersey guy, right? Because you're gonna go drop $100, I'm gonna leave you.
His name is perfect.
Yeah.
Yeah. Great.
Mister, I'm really glad you brought this here. It's come in handy.
I
There's a
know.
prop in the corner.
It really has. I just need to take it home.
Take it home for your Instagram
Yes.
story videos.
Right? I should.
The people that put the videos up constantly of them just talking, I was like, I'm not sure about this.
It depends on what the video is. Some of them I like to watch.
Well, there's obviously people that get a lot of followers just by going on some sort of crazy,
100%.
maybe I should look into it.
You can make a buck.
Just start having random rants. I feel so awkward. Setting the camera on myself, having a rant and posting it to Instagram, I would feel incredibly awkward.
Because you're an awkward person. You literally said,
Shots fired.
you literally earlier go, it gives me much joy. You can't.
Oh, Lord.
Whatever, Molly.
He's going to put you in the green room. Where you can't be not cold anymore. We've reached that age with our kids. Joshua.
Yeah.
Welcome back to the Hodge Pack as we kick off and keep rolling. Hour number 2, brought to you by Coleman County State Bank. We're glad that you're with us. Appreciate again. Congratulations to all those golfers from Wiley, Jim Ned, Jayton, and Holly. And if we're missing some, send them our way on advancing. Of course, congratulations to Branson King on a great season, finishing in 15th for the region. Great job by Branson. Senior, right?
Senior, yeah.
So good way to end it. Obviously, everybody wants to go to the next level and go to the state tournament, but congratulations on a good run. So it's good stuff. We were talking about some things, and got folks watching on our Facebook Live. Appreciate that. Dr. Lynn Lahan said Eagles have to pay 1,000% upcharge to wear their jerseys, and like Misty, green is his favorite color as well. And of course, Robert Cheener, good morning, Jesus has risen. That's good stuff. Again, Easter weekend, Good Friday today. But we're talking about fans and how you can be one, what qualifies you to be one. Josh was trying to get that out. I wasn't real sure where he was going, but
I told you, it's objective.
it is.
I'm the arbiter of it, though, so if you want to test it, just let me know. I'll give you a test.
Well, so right now, one of the big news is college football and college sports in general is the transfer portal and where people are going, where people are not going. And the big news was when basically the week I was gone and all of it was coming down was the Tennessee quarterback, Nico Loeva, and I'm going to leave it, basically told Tennessee he wanted $4 million. He was making $2 million, and Coach Heupel said, "See ya. Nobody's bigger than the team, bigger than the program." Now the irony is they're now not just looking at their quarterbacks on the roster; they're looking into the portal themselves.
Well, obviously,
which everybody's trying to paint that as a picture like, oh, you're doing that because your guy left. Well, yeah, we can still do that. I mean, there's no reason not to go check and see if there's somebody there to play.
well, right, and there was no statement of like, oh, the portal's terrible. Like we don't like the portal. No, it's just you're playing the game. Your guy wanted more than you thought he was worth, so you go to the next one, which I hate.
Yeah, I'm not a fan, and I think Coach Heupel did the right deal.
Yeah.
You don't make those decisions, and you let these kids run the show like you see in the pro athlete world. It's already a struggle and a problem, but now you're saying, well, I need this or I'm not playing.
Yeah, and where does it end?
Right. Well, I mean, the UNLV guy played 3 games and leaves for $100,000. This guy's leaving for $2 million, and there's a chance he may have to settle and go play somewhere else for less than the $2 million.
Well, that's what I'm saying. He has no guarantee that he's going to get more. And this is what bothers me the most, as you say, you compare it to the pro game. It's a complete different thing than the pro game. I mean, the pro game has very strict rules. In football, you get drafted, you have to play for that team, like 4 years if you're round or lower, 5 years if you're the first round. And you have to sit and make no money.
Right.
Like you can't just like, I don't think I want to play for the Eagles. I want to play for the Patriots. Like you can't do that.
And contracts are signed.
Right. And you can hold out, but you can't, and maybe you get more money, maybe you don't. But if you hold out, you don't get paid, and the team that has your contract still has your contract, and you can wait out your contract being done, which I guess Le'Veon Bell did that a few years ago. Just didn't play, didn't get paid, waited till the next year. And what happened to his career after that? Went in the tank. But so it's completely different at the college level, and it bothers me even trying to compare it because they act like, oh, like when the people that defend it, they should make some money off of what they're providing. The university tons of money off of them. Yes, I don't disagree with that. There should be some compensation available to players.
Sure.
Because They are. They're on billboards. There's jerseys being sold. There's video games. All of those things, and that's on your talent. So you should get paid
If
for
I
that.
wasn't good, nobody would be coming.
Right. And so, but there's got to be some sort of like
Rules.
right? I mean, you cannot just and you mentioned Baylor, and maybe in the break, maybe it was before we went to the break. Their whole basketball team left, either graduated, went to the draft, or transferred. The whole team.
They do not have.
Right.
And I'll get his last name, but Josh Ojuana entered the portal. With him leaving, there is not one single person left on the roster from the 24-25 roster. All new. And fortunately, a couple of things that I think could happen now. Now you got to get to work. I mean, if you're recruiting, you got to get to work.
Oh, yeah.
Number two, now does it open the door for mid-major guys that you're going to have to go get? Because I'm not saying Baylor's not a bad place, and I'll find out in things to listen. But is Coach Grunham going to be the type that I'm coming there? I want to go play there from other group of 4 schools.
Well,
or now you got to find out, do I have to start going and getting freshmen or JUCO, or, I mean, now you don't just have to go fill 4 people that graduated. You got a roster you got to go get.
And yes, and there's just the way that plays out, and all the specifics I don't know, but I know there were kids that had already signed their NIL deals to be at Baylor, who then backed out of them and went other places, which I don't understand why there's not, stricter languages in those contracts.
Yeah, what's the punishment for that?
I don't get that. But it's the notion that the way it used to be was unfair to the players on transferring, where you couldn't transfer in conference. If you transferred anywhere else, you had to sit out a year. And they said that wasn't fair because the coaches could leave, but you were still there. I don't know. That just bothers me because, as you mentioned, the pro game and what they have to deal with, you have zero say in where you go if you're playing professional sports. At least at first, you go to where you get drafted, and that's it. And if you don't get drafted, you can sign as a free agent, but then you're still very limited as to which teams might want you at that point. And as a rookie, where it's like that in Major League Baseball, it's like that in the NFL, and then you are contractually obligated to that team for X amount of years, and to make the college game just about not just what have you done for me lately, but like just no commitment ever.
Right.
Just bail at the drop of a hat. Like we've already seen it. It started with the opting out of bowl games, then it's progressed to people opting out of the rest of the season. Like just at any one
and
moment.
You've got to figure out when you can enter the portal, because if you've got classes and all these things, well, you
They
have
don't
people
care about classes, obviously.
But they have people thinking about not playing in the college football playoff. I mean, when you have people that don't even want to get the playoff because they want to go find out where they can. Certain coaches that said, if they ask about money, we don't want it. If their first question is, how much money am I going to get made, they don't want it. And, they were probably divas anyway going to the school.
Well, I'm sure they will.
But now your divaism skyrockets if you're trying to see, and I understand trying to get as much money as you can to an extent, because a lot of those that we see in the pro at draft day, I'm buying mama a house. We're able to change our lives from what they're getting on that draft day. We get it. And for some of them, the money they're getting now in college isn't life changing, like 50, 60 million, $100 million contracts like they do in pros, but they're getting substantial. If somebody gave either one of us $2 million,
don't make money and wanted to maximize your earning ability. That's all. That you should. There should be some rules in place that offer some sort of control.
We see this as pro people when pro people leave. I think we were talking about fandom. Are we going to see people get very? Jerry Jones fires Tom Landry. There are people to this day that do not like the Cowboys because of Jerry Jones doing that.
Right.
Forget the other stuff he's done because of that. Will we start to see donors and people start pulling away their funds, their fandom, their whatever, because of how players handle their things and how schools? Are there there's going to be Tennessee volunteer fans and donors because of the stance Heupel took? Are there going to be fans and donors that take the other because we should have paid Nico?
No, yeah,
Well,
of course.
yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I think so. I think it just depends on the person and their values and where they're at. And yeah, I mean, we see that with the Cowboys and every organization, I think, sees that depending on their beliefs. So absolutely.
But I think the other struggle I have with it is on this Nico, I'm about to leave it, was not even one of the, like it was in the top 10 of quarterbacks in that conference. Wasn't like the top 2, top 3. I mean, you're seeing like we see in the NBA,
a middling quarterback.
Yeah.
You're seeing the guy in the NBA who's like 6th or 7th on the roster, still making 15, 18 million because it's there to be made. I just think it's going to be a big struggle because it's affecting all sports, not just football.
Right. What I think might happen, and I really should, because like everyone wants return on their investment, but whether it's a donation or a literal investment, you don't give to a nonprofit for them to squander their money, right? I mean, you give to it because you believe in what their cause
And they're going to
is,
be good stewards of it.
and they're going to be good stewards of it, right? And you don't buy a stock because you think it might tank or just sit for a while and not go anywhere. You want to make money. So whatever the motivation is behind these donors that are donating this money, like I would see it as like if I was one of the people that wrote a big check to Tennessee and like part of that was like, all right, we paid this quarterback $2 million to come here.
I'm one of the donors that my 500,000 or my X contributing to get to that dollar.
Right. And he bailed. So you could talk about, all right, what did we make as a program, as coaching staff, or now they have general managers, did we give that to the wrong guy because they left after 1 year? So then I got thinking, this year I might not send any money in their way because that got squandered.
Yeah.
And
I think that's exactly, until they start tying it to playing, tying it to what you do. And again, we've seen this in other sports. Right, wrong, and different. Golf didn't have it and we've even seen this. After a game, there's an obligation by players in the NBA and the NFL and all that to have, if they want you to go speak
media.
And if you don't, we're going to fine you because it's with the contract deals and all that we've done. And the same deal, if we're signing you on this deal, and we've even seen it this week with local players, with other companies in town that signed ambassador deals or something that they were going to be. There's obligation that you have to follow to do those things. And if you don't, somewhere there's got to be a consequence on the money side because it's just got to be done.
Right. Like, why couldn't in the contracts, and I've never seen them, I don't know, and I don't know the rules that would go along this, but why couldn't there be clawback provisions if you don't stay X amount of years, and or bonuses paid at the end of the season for not opting out, or being on the roster at the beginning of spring practice, just whatever thing. I think there's things that you could write in there to make incentive.
You go and work and you stay years or whatever, they pay your student debt, or they pay that off or they pay you to go to college. We'll pay for you to go to college, but you need to work here for 5 years. I have a hard time thinking if they pay for you to do all those things and you leave on year 2, that you're not responsible for something that they.
Yeah,
They-
there's
Oh,
recourse.
I've definitely worked places that had deals that had clawbacks if you didn't stay to a certain
Yeah.
point, and so, I've signed contracts like that, so it's like, I don't understand why there can't be something like that
There's gonna
in
have
this,
to be,
like,
there's gonna be a commissioner, there's gonna have to be a salary, they're gonna have to figure all that out. It's right, it's like anything else. They came to it, they threw it out there, it had the right motive of getting this stuff done where the kids are getting paid, but they've got to figure it out.
well, and I was like, it just didn't turn out how I envisioned it. I pictured it as like, all right, now you can have local people on, some like no-show jobs, or have them on your commercial or your billboard local in town and pay them some money.
But I think it opened up Pandora's box and became exactly what I want, or what I thought would happen. And when we come back, the NFL draft is next week, and Dion's kids are in the news, and it's not even about football. I'm just telling you, it's about their uniforms being retired.
Well, it's like, you think, Misty, like in the mortgage world, there's like, if a deal doesn't stay on the books for so many days.
Well, I was actually thinking about
No.
that, and was gonna mention something like that, but I was letting y'all have it.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, in secondary market, most investors, if a couple things happen, if they don't make their first 6 payments,
Yeah.
you'll have to do a buyback, or, it just kind of depends.
Yeah.
Or if they pay a certain percentage, or, there's lots of different things, and then, the bank's on the hook for
They're
it.
wanting to buy a performing asset,
Absolutely,
and if
yeah,
it doesn't perform,
yes. Now,
your
anything over
commission will go
that,
back.
yeah, but anything over that 6 months, it's done.
Oh, yeah,
But
it could tank after that.
Right, but then,
But that's the same thing I think you should do with this. It's like, if I was, and I don't know what the legal ramifications are, if I was the general manager for a university, the deal that I would put in front of people is like, start like spring practice or fall baseball, or whenever they start basketball, you're on that roster for going into next season.
Uh-huh.
As soon as that roster comes out and you're there, you get this part. So it's like you get half up front and half there.
Right.
Because at least that you stayed to the next year. If you decided to go somewhere else, you're leaving that money on the table.
Yes,
Or like,
yeah, it's like you have to get it in increments.
yeah.
No lump sums here.
Because, when people started opting out of bowl games, I was like, this is going,
Oh, yeah.
like,
It just has
this is
gone
going
way
poorly.
too crazy.
And at first, it was just people opting out of bowl games to go pro. Like, now it's to go to another college. which that always bothered me. And I know that there's risk reward, you know, but it's like, it bothered me when people opted out just on the, because I always think, as a NFL general manager, you know, coach, and we're sitting in the room and we're talking about, all right, who do we want in the draft? You know, we need a wide receiver, we need a linebacker, you know, like whatever. And you're comparing two players, and this guy played for his team, played the bowl game, you know, like, and then like this guy, we have them kind of close, but this guy sat out the bowl game. You know, it's like, you know, it's like that's a little me before team. You know, I think I might want this guy that, you know, just show maybe more. I don't know.
Yeah, no, it's
Welcome back to the Hodgepodge Sports Life and everything in between, as we're again hanging out in the Toasted Life studio in the Mall of Abilene here on this Good Friday. We've been talking about college sports, and again, things have changed, and coming up next week is the NFL draft. But one of the other things college that happened, two of the best. Let me ask you this. I know you've been busy with baseball thing. What names do you think have popped up the most over the last few weeks when it comes to the NFL draft?
Oh, of course, Sugar. What's it there? Genty.
Yeah, Genty's one I'm interested in. Just
I think, yeah, those two I've heard a ton.
Yeah, I think Genty's some, and obviously Shadur on where he's going to go and land and all those. But I think the other one has been Travis Hunter. You know, your top three draft choices right now or selections, you have Tennessee at number 1, Cleveland at 2, and the Giants at 3. And each week it seems like the place of Shadur is going down. Well, there's been a lot of controversy this week because Dion came, or the Colorado department, they are going to retire the jerseys of Travis Hunter and Sanders. A lot of controversy because the Buffaloes won the national title in 1990. When you think of Colorado football, who do you think of?
Rashawn Salaam.
Cordell Stewart. Cordell's not retired. Before Salaam, Colorado retired the jersey number quarterback tailback Bobby Anderson in 1970, about 5 months after his last game at Colorado. And the other is Byron White, number 24, and guard linebacker Joe Romans, number 67, 1963. Nobody from the 1990 national title team has been retired. When I think of Colorado football, I think of Coach Bill McCartney, and I think of Cordell Stewart. Do you have a problem retired now?
Absolutely.
Yes, I was, gonna let him. When I think of retiring a player's number, I think of championships. I think of leaving a legacy. I think of, you know, some players that have passed away and they've retired their jersey. But in my opinion, Shadur and Travis Hunter should not have their numbers retired. I think it's absolutely ridiculous that they are doing that.
Like you said, it's a legacy. It's you know, in winning a Heisman, I can okay. That's a forever deal for the player and the university. I like that doesn't bother me, but a one and done on slightly above average team.
I mean, they were there 2 years.
What
but
is your thought before?
One year that actually was
Was good.
good. Yeah.
Well, my struggle is this, and I'll read what Colorado Athletic Department said here in a minute. I don't, if you're gonna retire a jersey, and this is, I understand Travis Hunter more than I do Shadur. Travis Hunter, generational talent, went both ways, won the Heisman.
Yeah, I agree with that. I'm fine with that.
If Travis Hunter's jersey is the one they just decided to do, I would agree with that.
That'd be a different story.
And I would, and this sounds weird, and I don't know if this is right, and it's okay, it's the hodgepodge. No, it's hot, I'm serious. If Shadur were to go into the NFL and have a good career, even though you're basing the retirement of the jersey off, I would almost have a better feel and understanding of retiring his number then, because they did have a good season last year. I mean, they were irrelevant until Dion got there. And then when Dion got there, he brought Travis, he brought Shadur, he brought his Shalom, the other son. I mean, he brought a lot of people. In fact, Scott Drew probably should give Dion a call on how do I get everybody here. But I don't think Shadur's, I know they changed college landscape and all those things. I don't think Shadur should. I do think Travis Hunter, I'm okay with that. The dude won a Heisman. It is a rare thing. I don't have a problem with that.
I don't have, like I said, I don't have a problem with the Heisman aspect of it, because that is all of the things as far as like recognition for your university. It's a forever. Schools, you get statues put up at stadiums when you win the Heisman, like that I'm 100% behind that. But I don't see Shadur Sanders' performance there in the 2 years that he was there as being momentous enough, like.
Well, I think you'll know how momentum enough, if that's right. It was.
It's not the same word I said, but I don't know.
Transportal.
Yeah.
You'll know how momentum is, whatever. You'll know how big it was. A lot of letters to 3 letters this year, and this is why. If what they did drew enough to bring more great players to Boulder to go and compete again in the Big 12, then you know they've done enough to make it. The decision to retire, this is from ESPN.com, the decision to retire numbers is based on the discretion of the college athletic administration and the current head coach. Travis Hunter and Shadur Sanders are both great buffs and exceptional talents who have been tremendous representatives of the program and our university and led our team back to national prominence. This is from athletic director Rick George. Dion says this to defend his son's inclusion on the number being retired. Quote, "We're talking about Shadur. We ain't talking about nobody else." Dion Sanders said in his finishes quote, "If his last name wasn't Sanders, we wouldn't have this discussion." Is he right? I think he is. I think if his name was Shadur McCoy or Shadur Jones and threw all those passes to Travis, would we still be saying he should not be retiring? Or do we think he's retiring his jersey? He's getting his jersey retired because of his dad.
Yeah, of course. Because of his dad.
So if it was Shadur Jones or Shadur Collier or Greer,
yeah,
and he was also getting his number retired, would we still be saying the same?
I just think that because of who his dad is, he's getting lumped in with Travis Hunter, and it should not happen.
If his name was Shadur McCoy Jones Collier,
He would not. This would not be a conversation.
But what if he? But I'm saying, so it would be okay.
I think, to me, it's like almost feels like a riding coattails of just because your dad is Deion Sanders, and now we're going to put Shadur up there. I just don't agree with it.
So Deion's trying to
asking though.
No. Dion's trying to say no one would question him if it was somebody else, right?
Of
Right.
course,
Yeah.
yeah.
I mean, he's defending it, saying like, the only reason this is a controversy is because Sanders is his last name.
Because he's my son.
Is that right?
No, it should be, if Cordell Stewart's number was retired, I'd give him a little more grace in it. But you take the guy that was a quarterback to win a national championship, was a starter for 3 years, was on the team for 4 years. His number's not retired. And then you move forward to the starter for 2 years, no national championship, really like a bad year that started after a couple of big wins and then just like the wheels came off, and then a kind of okay, made a little bit of a run but didn't finish it year. Like that is not number retired. I just don't think that it is.
No, I agree.
Yeah, it'll be, again, we'll see what they do next week's draft. Announcement, we are going to have next Friday, Taj Brooks, running back for the Red Raiders, will be joining us on our Customer phone line. Maybe he'll be called, I don't know. I don't think he's projected to be a first-round draft pick, but he'll be there next live from Green Bay. Should there where will they land? I don't know. Cowboys, I think they need a receiver. It looks like that's what they're looking at for that number 12.
Mm-hmm.
I hope. All right, real quick, would you want Genty?
I would take him. I don't know.
Would you trade up to get him, or only have if he falls in your lap at 12?
See, I don't even know that. I don't know that
I mean,
he'll be a first round draft pick. I don't know that I would do it at 12 but I'm more squeamish on that than I used to be. I used to be very solid. You don't draft a running back in the first round, and you can pick up.
I think you do now.
I think that is changing. And even though I felt that way when they last picked a running back in the first round and got Ezekiel Elliott, I thought that was a mistake. But at the same time, his initial run with the Cowboys was good.
Your tires are really good for the first few miles.
Right.
And his work.
And the thing is, it's like,
until he went to Cabo.
people talk about, you can't draft a running back in the first round. They don't have the longevity they used to. They don't, so on. But you got it for 5 years. And that 5 years was pretty good.
Yeah.
So, yeah, you could argue that you could pick up a third round back and the drop not be that far, and then you could get some. So, where I'm at on that. But
we got a minute. Do we think what Saquon did in Philly will give running backs a little more longer runway than they used to? I think so, yes. Him and Derrick Henry. I think
that it showed that they are game changers that win you football games.
Absolutely. Gave them a leg up.
Oh, and then we talked about Le'Veon Bell. When Le'Veon Bell held out and wanted a lot more money, he hurt the running back position.
Yes.
Because nobody was going to pay that. But what Saquon just
he
revived it and made it a very relevant position for, hey, yes, we throw the football on the lot, but this still matters.
And the thing is with Le'Veon Bell, and I can't remember who it was that was the backup there in Pittsburgh, then just suddenly became the starter. It's too long for me to remember all of that. But also hurt Le'Veon Bell that they came in and was just good. And
Saquon would.
Yes. Oh, without it. Ask New York. They'll be trying to figure out next week. When we come back, I am going to and this will probably get heated, which is a good thing there's only 15 minutes left. Misty and Josh were wrong. We'll be back. Oh, that made it on the air. Huh?
How are they wrong?
Oh, they were wrong about Luka.
We're not wrong. Absolutely. All we have to do is run an extension cord and put that right here. We can set it up, picture's a good angle.
There's an extension cord.
I know, that's incredibly long.
We may need to put it up there and lower it, or, I don't know, the height was wrong on it.
Set it up here.
Yeah, that was the only thing whenever we try to use it.
Because that takes much better picture of people out, so.
What?
What?
It's not my fault. You wouldn't step in them.
Oh.
And I could see you on the camera, so you must have like scooted out at the last second.
I was like a ghost, just vanished.
Yeah.
Finished. Because, yeah. Then if it was here.
I think the angle's good as far as the background.
Yeah, see, I think we're up all the way.
It's just.
Okay, no, we're
Oh,
Here we go.
no, oh.
That would help. Because that's the only thing it is.
No, that's as high as I can hold it.
That's it, yeah. Like, that's the only thing. Just want to make sure that,
Timer on the phone and everything, just easy.
right?
Sometimes I remember how to do it, sometimes I fiddle around with it.
Uh-huh, yeah.
I'm gonna go get a couple laps in with the walkers, give some high fives.
Right.
You said I do. You did.
Just go the wrong way and high five everybody that I walk by.
How many of the people said they missed y'all or missed us at the JA tournament?
Yeah, there's been about a couple, like, so just a few people ask me like, you're not doing your thing again? Like, no. No.
We're like one-hit wonders.
Uh,
Okay, look,
It was
good.
it was like kind of
We can
fun,
just be like
but
right here.
kind of a beat down.
Because if we're so far back, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But like, if we literally just, like, then, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because that's behind.
Extreme close up. Oh, no.
But yeah, I think if we're like right here, this is good. And then the light's on, so yeah, it's doable.
Yeah, I don't even necessarily think you have to have the light. The light would make it better, but
Yeah,
still.
I think the light
Yeah,
definitely makes it better, but.
But still, then we're just doing this.
Well, this is over here, so, I
Yeah.
mean, I feel like,
We can make it work. We'll do that next time.
yeah, next week, okay. I'm snacking, I need something.
Yeah, I was just thinking, I'm barely getting by. It's high.
I'm thinking about a burrito.
Huh?
I'm thinking about a burrito.
Oh,
A burrito.
You normally don't want anything, so I don't didn't get
No,
you.
no,
it's not
really
you,
big.
it's
I just want to know how
the famous.
Oh, now I'm cold. I got
Oh,
chilly
yeah,
in here.
I'll go turn that. It is.
It is me, it is Hutch, and I'm about to tell you why Josh and Mr. are wrong in just a moment. But one of the big news that happened this week, that was announced, longtime head basketball coach, once on the boys' side, took a little break, now on the girls' side. Hunter Cooley at Jim Ned retires from coaching, steps down, and will be just the CFO of the district. Good run by Hunter. I know would have loved to end it with a state championship this year, but it'll be interesting. Probably one of the top jobs in the country, in the state, girls basketball jobs open in Tuscola.
Yeah, they have quite the So hopefully, new coach can come in there and keep that rolling.
And anticipate a lot of people applying for that job. So it'll be interesting to see. You know, we've seen it at other places, Coach Sandifer at Wiley and other places where they replaced the guy. So we'll see who takes that job in Gym Ned, but it is Gym Ned girls basketball job open for business. So a couple things I want to talk about. Last week, again, Josh and Misty did a great job with the show along with Amber and John. John stuck around.
It was fun that he answered the question last week. And he had great answers. He always does such a great job. I love John.
And Josh and I were on the same page with the bad, how'd you word it? The scandal.
Yeah. The goat of,
the goat
scandals.
But y'all brought up Luka. And the Mavs will kick off, will try to continue a playoff run without Luka. Luka and Lakers playing all those things. And y'all talked about how y'all weren't fans of the tribute video, right?
Right.
Is that correct?
That is correct.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And we're a little disappointed that he was crying, correct? Y'all, is that
yeah.
It was just, we didn't, not necessarily disappointed, we were just saying it was just awkward. And like, we were saying, what does that say to your new team? Like that you're so overwhelmed with emotion because of the Mavericks. So we were kind of back and forth on it, really.
But my thing is, we see these all the time. Tribute videos, when somebody comes back.
It was nice.
There's a tribute
that.
video.
But the way that they canned him in the 11th hour in the middle of the night, that we were kind of talking about what tribute video, the way that all of that went down, to me was not it.
I think it's one of those, we messed up. Now, Nico Harrison this week.
Too little too late.
Nico came out this week and in a press conference said he doesn't regret the trade. He felt like it was the best thing for the franchise. And I disagree. You're going to see possibly Luka very much. I think the NBA championship is wide open. And you've got one of the best players in the game in Luka, and you got one of the best of all time in LeBron at 40 years old, still playing well. They are going to be good enough to possibly win a NBA title. This right is very similar to the Herschel Walker trade. When Dallas shipped Herschel Walker off and got a bukus of draft picks, and now you have the people that led to 3 Super Bowls, then you know it's a good deal. You're not going to know anything about this until year 2, 3, or 4 post Luka being gone. I think they did a great job on the tribute. I think you also saw how much it meant for Luka and what Dallas meant to him. I mean, the fans, I was watching it. It sounded like when the Yankees sometimes come to a Ranger game, it sounded like a road game for the Rangers and a home game for the Yankees. It sounded like a home game for the Lakers at times because they were so cheering for Luka. And it's almost like I was a fan of the video. I love the fact that he got emotional. I do see your sense of like, what does that mean if I'm AD?
Well, but
also, even AD and Luka like embrace like, hey man, it's.
And Luka's crying because he's still got a Band-Aid on a bullet hole. Obviously, he's crying because he's still hurt because that was his franchise. And so the whole thing was weird. You traded him away like he was nothing, like he meant nothing to the franchise, and then you try to put a bullet or a Band-Aid on a bullet hole when he comes back to town. It just didn't feel authentic.
Yeah,
was my point.
100%.
So did you feel like it was a box they had to check?
No, I don't know why they did it. If he's so terrible, you got to trade him for a washed-up center and some draft picks 17 years from now. You know, like
in the middle at 9 o'clock at night.
Just like in such a wacky lopsided trade that people thought it was a joke, you know, like it was a joke, like it didn't make any sense. And then wait, it's real.
They were doing that to try to keep the Mavericks fans.
That's
what that
it was an
tribute video
appeasement
was.
to the
It
fans,
wasn't
and I
for-
guess that does have some value, but it bothered me because yes, you dumped him. It was not it.
Terribly.
Tributes are something that you save for like the last year of someone's career when they had a good run with you, but you know, like your Emmitt Smith or Elvis Andrews, you know, like you played a long time for the franchise. You were the cornerstone. You're part of the franchise. You got old. You did your thing.
Now,
you
in
know,
his defense, the other thing that you normally see of those people is they want a title.
well, right. I mean, or they had.
In Luka's defense, he got them to the Western. He got them to the NBA Finals.
No, and
so
you're
thinking you're on your bus,
right. He deserves.
and they pushed him out of the airplane.
He deserves a tribute. He deserves all of that if he was there a little bit longer. But it was not his choice to leave. And here's the other thing. They were making huge deals about any anti-Mavericks ownership, GM, kicking people out of games, revoking their tickets. Yes, like kicking them out because they put the black stripe over the Mavericks logo on their shirt, you know, like the fallen officer like thing, you know, which is maybe disrespectful, but at the same time, you know, like kicking them out of the game for that. You know, like they go from that to this big tribute, and it was it was too much for me. And the other thing about the crying, the thing that I don't like about the crying, I understand being emotional, and I understand he was happy, it appears, like at least liked the connection he had with the fans, and so all of that brought a tear to his eye. Maybe that's something he, at the time, couldn't control your emotions. It would bother me if I was a Lakers teammate. That would be the same as like your girlfriend ran into their ex-boyfriend and was like, oh, he was such a great guy, like
that unanswered prayer, I wish.
Yeah, like.
I just don't think we're wrong. Like you say we're wrong.
We're not. We're
not
wrong.
I feel we're wrong. Like
you're not.
That was a PR stunt at best.
Yeah, and like I said, it's like the Lakers just found out. Oh, he's not over his ex yet.
Yeah, he still loves the Mavericks.
I think you're wrong in the fact that I understand why you got emotional, and I wrote this down to. Did you get moved? And when the Rangers won the World Series, were you the tears or not?
No, but close.
Yeah. But I say that because it makes sense, the emotion to be there. Like if he's crying, I mean, it was a huge. She was a great girl, and things worked out so well.
It's just raw.
And now I'm not.
It's just still raw, and I get it. It's still raw.
But
It just happened a few months ago.
Here's the thing.
A couple months ago.
They chose to move on from Luka. It's not. Josh Hamilton played for the Rangers in their big run. Was the best player in baseball for a few years. He left to go to the Angels, which was bad. That hurt. He did it.
Right.
You know, like.
We're right, you're wrong.
You are wrong.
Hey, we are
100%.
A tribute video to Josh and Misty next week. We will bring you.
Dang, well, imagine me wrong.
Oh man.
Imagine me wrong.
Huh?
Dang, imagine me wrong.
Dang.
Being wrong?